It was a quiet afternoon in one of Los Angeles' most upscale neighborhoods, the kind of place where the rich and famous often walk the streets, hidden behind designer sunglasses and the buzz of expensive cars. Clint Eastwood's wife, Dinah, had been out shopping for a new dress. She wasn't one for lavish attention or flaunting her wealth, but today she wanted something special, something that would make her feel good about herself. She had heard great things about a boutique down the street, a luxurious place known for its exclusive designer pieces. The boutique's windows were pristine, showcasing the latest collections from high-end designers. Dina walked into the store with a quiet grace, her eyes scanning the racks of elegant clothing. The sales assistant, a young woman with perfectly done hair and a sharp demeanor, greeted her with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Dina was used to this. Being a public figure's wife often meant people assumed things about her or treated her as if she were invisible when they realized who she was. But she didn't mind. Today, she simply wanted to enjoy the experience of shopping without any hassle. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments below and stay tuned to see what happens when Dina is disrespected in the most shocking way. Dina carefully examined the clothes, running her fingers over the fabrics as she picked out a few dresses that caught her eye. The boutique manager, a tall man in his 40s with a polished appearance, watched her from behind the counter, his eyes flicking over her with a look of disinterest. Dina had been there for a few minutes just browsing when she approached the counter with a dress she liked. "I'll take this one," she said politely, smiling as she set the dress down. The manager barely glanced at her. Instead, he picked up the dress, eyeing it with disdain. "You really think this will look good on you?" he said, his tone dripping with condescension. Dina blinked, momentarily taken aback. She wasn't used to being spoken to like that, and especially in a boutique of such high repute. The manager's eyes scanned her from head to toe before he added, "I would have thought someone like you might want something more suitable for your age." His words were sharp, laced with judgment. Dina's smile faltered for a moment, but she quickly regained her composure. She wasn't going to let this man's rude behavior ruin her day. Instead, she remained calm, maintaining the grace and dignity she was known for. Why is the manager being so rude? Keep watching to see how Dina handles this shocking situation. Dina's heart raced a little, but she refused to show the manager that his words had gotten to her. She was used to people underestimating her, judging her without knowing who she really was. But this was different. "I'm sure you'd prefer me to buy something else," she said with a calm smile, her voice not giving away any hint of the anger brewing beneath the surface. The manager, oblivious to the fire he was stoking, simply shrugged and moved to the side. "I'm just saying, maybe you should try the clearance section," he added, completely dismissing her. Dina's patience was wearing thin, but she remained composed, quietly reminding herself that this was just another rude, ignorant person she would have to deal with. But little did the manager know, Dina wasn't just anyone. She was Clint Eastwood's wife, and she wasn't about to let his attitude slide. She pulled out her phone, tapping it quickly, and before the manager even realized it, she was sending a message. The manager continued his dismissive attitude, unaware that the woman standing before him was about to turn the tables in a way he'd never expect. Stay with us, because things are about to take a major turn in this story. Moments later, Clint Eastwood himself walked through the boutique doors, his presence immediately filling the space. The manager, who had been too busy being rude, barely noticed until Clint approached the counter. "Excuse me," Clint said, his voice steady, the kind of voice that made people listen. The manager, startled, finally looked up. His eyes widened when he saw who was standing in front of him. Clint Eastwood was one of the most iconic figures in Hollywood. He didn't exactly blend in. The manager's arrogance faltered as he quickly realized his mistake. Dinah, with her calm composure, had known exactly what she was doing. The manager stammered, trying to recover from his earlier attitude. "Mr. Eastwood, I didn't know." He trailed off, his face turning a shade of crimson. Dina stood by Clint's side, her expression one of quiet satisfaction. "This is my wife," Clint said, his voice laced with quiet authority, "and I'm sure she doesn't appreciate how you treated her." The manager opened his mouth to apologize, but Clint's glare silenced him immediately. "Your treatment of customers, especially her, was unacceptable," Clint continued, his words firm but not raised. You'll be hearing from corporate. The manager's eyes darted nervously between Clint and Dina, realizing that his mistake had just cost him more than a customer. It had cost him his job. What happens next will leave you speechless. Don't go anywhere, because this story is far from over. The manager quickly apologized, his words stumbling over one another, but Clint wasn't interested in excuses. He had seen enough in his lifetime to know that some people only respond to consequences. I think you've learned your lesson, Clint said, his voice no longer as calm, his disappointment evident. The manager nodded fervently, desperate to make things right. Dina, however, didn't need his apology. She had already been treated with the respect she deserved. Clint placed a hand gently on her shoulder and turned to leave. The manager still standing there, unsure of what had just happened. Let's go, Clint said to Dina, his voice softening. Dina smiled at her husband, her heart swelling with gratitude. She hadn't needed Clint to come to her defense, but his unwavering support was a reminder of how much they cared for one another. As they walked out of the boutique, Dina couldn't help but feel empowered. The manager would think twice before treating someone with such disregard again. And Dina, she would continue to walk through life with the grace and confidence that had gotten her through so much, knowing that her family would always have her back. If you believe in standing up for what's right and treating others with respect, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for more stories like this.